It works. Yes, now I got it. All right, so I'm just going to give everyone another minute or two to get back on. I did fix the screen sharing, so I can present now. Alrighty. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. And as I see people are queuing up in the waiting room, I'll just go ahead and let everyone in. So again, I'm really very sorry that we really couldn't do this in person due to COVID-19. We did have to cancel our new student open house that we would have had in March. So for now, this is going to have to take its place. So before we get started, just welcome everyone again. We're so excited to have your child or to have you here with us at CAHS. This really is an amazing place. So we're hoping that we can, answer a lot of questions and give you a lot of info that you wouldn't or that you didn't get in the spring. So we're going to be covering 3 different sections of what CAHS is. We are going to cover who your CAHS VIP are, who are the people that you absolutely 100% should know. Either you can recognize them on campus, or you should feel more than comfortable reaching out to them because they are the people who can help you. We're going to talk about academic concerns and things that we expect here at CAHS. And then we're going to have an FAQ page. These are kind of the most frequently asked questions that we deal with when it comes to our campus. All right, so what is CAHS? So CAHS is one of the magnet schools that Northside offers. We are college prep, which means that we are very, very academically driven. We do expect a lot from our students academically. We expect them to challenge themselves and to give their absolute 100% best. And we really focus on those strong academics, but also effective communication in different mediums. this is why we teach our students, you know, how to effectively communicate in terms of public speaking, how to be courteous and kind via email, and even how to do stuff online when it comes to graphic design or, you know, making videos and using photography and animation. That all kind of falls into the same arena of sending some kind of message to a group of people. So we'll kind of get started. If you can see here in this picture, we are a very, very small campus. Dr. Baker has kind of used the term like a small town kind of feel. When you join CAHS, we really are a family. We know our students by name. We can tell you, you know, what grade they're in. We know what sports they play. We know what our kids are doing because we get to see them so often, and we really get to know them and know who they are. So this is broken up into a few chunks. So your CAHS VIP in terms of administrators, on the left, you have our amazing principal, that's Dr. Lisa Baker. She is our fearless leader. She leads us in every aspect of our campus. In the middle is our vice principal and academic dean, is Mr. Michael Alisea. When it comes to academics, he's your guy. If you have an issue with anything like that, he's the main person that you want to talk to. And on the right, you have myself. I'm Mrs. Bonda. I'm your program coordinator. I deal with any kind of outreach to the community, anything that's going on within CAHS, whether it's recruiting, field trips, or organizing things within our campus. I am your person. We have two very amazing counselors, and if they've been able to log on, I'll let them introduce themselves. They're super amazing. Like I said, we do have two counselors, but they do so much more than just counseling. They're really a part of our family. They will get to know our students. They will know the little ins and outs. And your counselor is assigned based on your last name. So Ms. Skidmore, are you on here?
I am. I'm here.
Right, so awesome. So this is Mrs. Skidmore. So if your last name begins with A through K, your counselor for your next 4 years here at CAHS is going to be Miss Skidmore, and she's completely amazing. She is the sweetest person I've ever met, and you're incredibly lucky to have Miss Skidmore.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another fun year.
If your last name is L through Z, your counselor will be Dr. Rosales, and I've never met someone who's more knowledgeable, more patient, and just has the utmost care for our students. So Dr. Rosales, are you ready to pop in?
I am right here. Welcome back, you guys. We're so happy to see you, even if it's virtually. We can't wait to get the year started with you guys.
We really can't say enough great things about our counselors, really, truly, because you're at a magnet school. The level of care that you get from your counselors is just unmatched anywhere in the district. It's amazing to know somebody who can, you know, kind of pinpoint who you are, know your strengths, and really like help you navigate school and life and have just someone to talk to. Our next stop on CAHS VIP is our support staff. So on the left, you're gonna have Mrs. Cueva. She is our attendance and our leaver clerk, and she's gonna be located in C112. So anything that has to do with attendance, whether it's turning in notes, excuses, you have questions about how many absences you have or what you need, she's your lady, and she's amazing. She is super sweet and super helpful. In the middle, we have Mrs. Gangwar. She is our principal's secretary. So she's going to be located in the front office. So usually if you're calling the front office, you're always going to talk to her first. And she's really great at helping to direct you to the right person, to help you with the little things. Or really, if you have a big thing, she's great to help you out with that. And then on our right, we have Mrs. Montellano. She is our college and career readiness faculty. She will help you with applying for schools, scholarships, navigating Apply Texas. If you need help, you know, with your SAT, your ACT, if you need tools to help you get ready for your PSAT, she's a great stop. If you have questions about college readiness in general, it is never too early to start planning, and just start getting yourself ready to get to your next level. All right, moving on to our 9th grade teachers. I'll start right here with Mr. Paulinard and Mr. Rosser. Every single one of you will have Paulinard and Rosser because they are your English 1 teachers and your AP Human Geography teachers. Again, I can't say enough good things about the faculty and staff on our campus. They're the most dedicated teachers that I've ever met. Mr. Rosser worked tirelessly this past spring getting his kids ready for the AP exam. Mr. Paulinard is constantly volunteering and helping do like Environment Club and other organizations. On the right, some of you will have Miss Cleveland depending on what strand you're in. If you're in the animation or AV strand, your freshman year, you will have Miss Cleveland for your Principles of Arts class. However, if you're in broadcast journalism, you will not have Miss Cleveland. Instead, you will have Miss McCarthy. She is our advanced broadcast journalism teacher. And when it comes to journalism, nobody knows more than she does. We do require our students to, for the most part, to take 3 levels of Spanish. And so we have 2 amazing Spanish teachers. We have Senora Delgado and Senora Driggers, who are fantastic. If you're taking lower level Spanish, you'll probably start out with Senora Driggers. But if you've already taken some Spanish in middle school, you're probably going to see Senora Delgado. Or if you're taking any kind of upper level Spanish like AP or dual credit, you're going to see Senora Delgado. Alrighty, I'm going to turn it over right here to Mr. Alicea, and he's going to help us go through the academic areas.
All right, glad to see all of you. I'm Mr. Alicea. I'm the Vice Principal / Academic Dean. Again, just to echo some of the comments Ms. Bonda had said earlier, we wish we could be seeing y'all face to face and get to know you and learn those personalities and things like that. We hope that's sooner rather than later. As you start your journey into comm arts, one of the things you're going to learn pretty quickly is that we are a school made up of a lot of different people, different types of people, different personalities, different interests. Everybody has those things that drew your interest to our school, whether it was animation or maybe you wanted to play sports or whatever it may be. But when you step foot on our campus, what you're going to learn pretty quickly is that no matter what kind of brought you here, one of the common threads through all our students is they're very driven academically. They have a desire to do well because they do have one eye pointed towards the future on things that they'd like to accomplish. When you leave comm arts at the end of your 4 years here, you are going to be academically ready to move on with whatever you choose to have next. It is a big part of what we do. It will not be easy. I can't sit here and tell you that, but what I can tell you is you will be challenged and you will be supported. There are going to be times when you're going to have to ask for help. But the great thing about our school is help is readily available. You can walk up to anybody on this campus and ask for help and they'll get you pointed in the right direction. As a freshman, you're going to take your first AP class. Every student at comm arts will take advanced placement classes. Those are some classes that will get you ready to take the AP exam in the spring, given by College Board, and that's a way for you to earn college credit. We have a fantastic human geo teacher in Mr. Rosser. You'll get to know him and his unique personality, but he will do everything he can to get you ready to take that test. As you work your way through your 4 years here at comm arts, you will take more AP classes and you'll also have the opportunity to take some dual credit classes. Dual credit classes are another way for you to earn some college credit. And as you get a little bit later in your career with us, those become available. When you get to junior and senior, we have another class called Arts and Entertainment, which is what's called an on-ramps class. It's a partnership that the district has with the University of Texas. That's taught by a great teacher, Ms. Frias, and it's high interest. That was always one of my favorite classes to go into. One day I walked in and they were designing board games. They were creating podcasts. They were studying video game design and things like that. So it was a very high interest class. And the good thing about it is if you did what you needed to do, there was college credit at the end of that. So you will be challenged academically, but again, you are going to have the support you need to do well. So I know we have students, current students here, that we want to have them on to give you some perspective. Ms. Bonda has as a question for our students, our current ComArt students. How do you manage your time to balance the demands of an AP class? Anybody? Go ahead, Luis.
All right, so personally, I feel like AP classes are a little, I wouldn't say overrated, but they're kind of over-exaggerated when it comes down to how much work you're actually getting. It's just like any other class, it's just doing more. The work's not more, but it's just harder. So if anything, if you're good at keeping a schedule down and staying on top of all your homework, it should be easy for you.
How I manage to do all of the work, I always like have like a group chat where I have like, we make sure like we keep each other in like line. We tell each other like, hey, did you do your assignment? And then, or like, did you read this chapter? And then we always try to like test each other's notes. Like having group chats, I feel like it's a really big part of like ComArts. I don't know. I'm always in group chats, like talking to people, being like, hey, like, can we study tonight about like this chapter? I really don't get it. And you can always find people who understand the topic, and then you can really find people like who are very like knowledgeable and just know everything about it, and they're always willing to help. Most ComArts students are always willing to help each other out.
Yeah, the way I did it is like the way Jamie said, is the group chats. We would really communicate on what the things we did, and especially in Mr. Rosser's class, it was just a bunch of note taking. So we would review them during lunch. We'd meet up in the courtyard, and we just review and we test each other out. And like after school, we'd FaceTime and do our homework together.
All right, so we did have another question on here as well. I think we have some students that have taken dual credit, but would you recommend students go into the dual credit program? Any of our students that have taken?
100%. Like I enjoyed dual credit so much last year, and it was like, and I'm going to take mostly dual credit classes this year. So I think it's just an easy way to get college credit, and it's fun. You have more, like I have an ID card for Northwest Vista, so I can like go to the college campus and use their technology there, which is so helpful for using like Adobe programs. And I can even just go to the gym over at Vista, which is a plus.
Yeah, like Jamie said, I would definitely recommend do credit classes because you basically have the same work. It's not like in an AP class where you have the test at the end of the year. So last year I took Ms. Barden's dual credit class for digital media, and we basically were just doing the same thing as the college was doing. And like Jamie said, we went to the campus to get our ID cards. We have the same benefits as the college kids do. So it's really beneficial.
I would recommend dual credit as well, but I will say one thing is to be careful of what dual credit classes you choose to take, because like I'm a senior now, so I maxed out on all the dual credit classes I could take, because when you start applying for colleges, they do look at how many classes you take, and it could affect your scholarship and financial aid opportunities. I believe you can max out at like 7 or 8. So just be careful of what dual credit classes you can take, but a good chunk of them at ComArts, like I 100% recommend you take them.
Yeah, this year it's gonna be my first year taking dual credit. I'm taking it in my Spanish class, and a lot of the sophomores and juniors that were already taking it said that I should do it 100% and that they really enjoyed it.
All right, thank you guys. And again, with dual credit, Miss Montellano, our counselors, myself, when it comes to navigating kind of how that looks as you're planning towards college. We can obviously be a great asset to that. So one of the things as we're looking at the calendar, and Monday morning school will start for everybody. Obviously not the way we're used to it, but we'll be in a virtual situation. Questions may be of what that's going to look like. You are going to follow, and this is going to be different for everybody. You are going to be following your bell schedule like you were if you were on campus. You can see the two bell schedules that are here, and you can see how the classes will flow into each other. As you start each class, you will have 15 minutes of each. The first 15 minutes of each of your classes, your teacher will have you in a live Zoom session. So on Monday, you will get to meet face-to-face through a screen all of your teachers, and they will be going whatever they're going to be going through their first day of school. The rest of that time, depending on the class you're in, might look a little bit different. You might be doing some independent work. You might be broken off with a group collaborating through Zoom or Google Meets with other people. But those first 15 minutes of each class, you're going to be in a Zoom meeting just like this with your teacher, going over whatever it is they may need you to go over. So you can see this year, we will all have the same lunch. 6th period is the ComArts lunch. That allows our whole campus to be off together at one time, and for us to do, if possible, a lot of the great things we've done and have been traditions here, Turkey Fest and things like that. If those things become possible, we're crossing our fingers and hoping at some point this year we'll be able to do those things. But at least together we'd be able to do it during 6th period. So this is something our teachers are going to have the bell schedule in their Schoology accounts, which we'll talk about here in a few minutes. But this is kind of what your day will look like. All right. Can anybody tell me, or current students, how you can see your class schedule? You might have been able to see it already.
On Hack.
Hack, yeah.
Yeah.
If you are not familiar with Hack, you will find that when you come to ComArts, our students know their Hack accounts because they're keeping track of absences, they're keeping track of grades. So if your parents don't have one, I know that you might be trying to be sneaky and not have them see what you're doing in your classes. Make sure you have a Hack account. All right.
Honestly, if I can squeeze this in, Hack will honestly be your best friend, especially if you have trouble with deadlines, because most of the time your teacher will actually put in when that assignment is due.
Right. Exactly, Luis. Does anybody have any tips for navigating the 9th grade or the 10th grade classes? Because we do have some sophomores that are joining us from other schools. Most of our new students will be 9th graders, but we do have a few 10th graders. Any tips for them?
One big thing I had for going to TAC classes, at least upstairs, is if you try to go through your designated locker room, when you're going upstairs, it's so much faster because you don't have to be in the middle of everything, because most of the time downstairs in TAC, it's just one big mob.
Well, I will say about that, Luis, that's going to look a lot different once we get people back on campus. We can talk a little bit about that when we get to the map. But yeah, I agree with you. I was a Taft graduate, and I remember having a class on the first floor and losing track of where I was and being lost in the school. It's a lot bigger than your middle schools. So.
All right, any other tips before we move on?
If you're going to be in Taft, I would just say find a specific stairwell. I use the same stairwell every day when I was at Taft because it got me to classes faster. And there's specific areas where they're not crowded as much as. the other ones are. But for mom, it's simple, upstairs and upstairs.
That's good advice. All right, we're gonna go ahead and move on.
So if you have not looked at your student portal lately, you're going to notice that there is a new icon in there for Schoology. Last year, when we went to virtual learning, when that all kind of took us by surprise, we tried to do as best we could with Google Classroom. And Google Classroom had a lot of good things about it, but there are also a lot of obstacles that went along with it. Our district has decided to go with something called Schoology. I don't know if Ms. Bonda, if you have the pics in there.
I do.
So this is a screenshot of a portal. I happen to have a daughter who's a senior at ComArts. So this is what her portal looks like. You'll notice that on the lower left, next to the north side symbol, there's a tile that has S in Schoology. And that's pretty much where everything that you're going to have going on in class is going to take place inside of. Students, you should have your accounts already. Parents, an email was supposed to be sent out to you for you to be able to get a code to access the Schoology on a parent account. From my understanding, the parent account is supposed to look almost exactly like the student account, with the exception of not being able to do things like turn in assignments and stuff like that. So you can go ahead.
If we did not get an email, I didn't get an email. So
okay. Yeah, I've kind of, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't get an email for my own daughter's Schoology account. So I'm going to look into that and see if that's something that's still forthcoming. But hopefully we can get those out before next week. But that's definitely something I can look into.
Great.
Yeah,
so
I didn't.
Go ahead.
I didn't get.
You didn't get one either?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so we'll look into that so that we can, we'll find an answer and then we'll put it out there to all our parents and students so they can be on the lookout once we know that they're all officially coming out. The screenshot that you see right now is what Schoology will look like once you log into it. It's basically on the top, you're going to see courses, groups, resources, and then grade report. Your grade report, I think that's pretty self-explanatory. That's going to be where your grades are going to be tracked. Resources are going to be any kind of, maybe it's a reading that you, a teacher put in there or something you wanted to hang on to. It can get loaded into that section. But where you're going to spend most of your time is going to be in the courses section of Schoology. That is where your classes are going to be. So you can see in this screenshot, these are the classes that this student has. And when you click into those classes, these are the courses here, excuse me. That's your homepage, I'm sorry. That is your homepage with your recent activity. And then on the next screen, you're gonna see the courses. So this is my own daughter's. So you can see she's on the dance team. So she has a dance team period. She's taking Lit Gen Film, arts and entertainment. So you can see all the courses. So what we're asking our teachers to do, and it might take them a little bit to do this because this is something we just did today, is we want them to put in, so if you see, for instance, arts and entertainment, which is the top left course, what we're going to ask our teachers to do is inside the name of that course to put in the time that they will be during the day Zooming with you guys. So if, for instance, my daughter had arts and entertainment first period, that means she would be in a Zoom session from 9 to 9:15. If the teacher has that entered in there next to the title of the course, it's very easy for you guys to see it and know where it is you need to be and when. When you click into those courses, you're going to start seeing the teachers are going to build and organize into folders. And the folders will say, they'll have the weeks. So next week, August 24th, week 1, and within that folder, you'll have the days of the week, Monday through Friday, so that it'll be very simple for you to click into each day and see what it is you have to do. Is there a video I need to watch? Is there an assignment I need to do? And this should keep everything a lot more organized than maybe Google Classroom was last year. All right. So if you haven't gone into your Schoology account yet, parents, I would sit there with your students, have them go into their portal, have them open up their Schoology account, and just start looking around in there and see what it is that you can see, so you can start familiarizing yourself with it.
And I will say that most of, if not all of their courses should already be loaded in there for them. I know I opened up my daughter's account yesterday just to make sure that she could open it up Monday morning, and she had all of her things in there. So once you open it up, you should be able to see exactly what it is that your student is going to be taking, when, and with who.
So I have a question. So going forward, once things eventually not going to get back to normal, is the plan to continue using Schoology the rest of this year, the following years, as a platform that's going to kind of be like a hybrid online / in classroom environment? Because I know my daughter's middle school, they have been using Google Classroom for the last 2-3 years.
Right.
And I actually sat and followed her through school one day last year, and it was interesting watching the teachers do their initial lecture and then have them pop out their Chromebooks in the classroom and work on the lesson plans in the classroom.
That is something like, now I can't tell you, I can't give you like a definitive answer and say, yes, Schoology is something that is here to stay for our district. It is definitely because of kind of the situation we have going on, and knowing that some of our students will stay virtual for the whole year because they have the option to make that personal choice. Schoology will definitely be around this year. I could see it continuing, but I don't have any kind of guarantee. Where we've been told that Schoology, yes, will continue after this year. It seems like a kind of a progressive step on how education may be going with the use of these types of platforms. I just can't say that this is what our district will keep going here on out.
Alrighty, so here we'll transition into kind of the most frequently asked questions when it comes to CAHS. And this is where I will turn it over to Dr. Baker, and she will kind of go through all these questions.
I'm sorry, I just have a quick question. For the Zoom meetings, will there be a link within the class on Schoology to the Zoom meeting every day, or?
Yes, ma'am. The folder structure in there should help a lot. So if the student clicks into like Monday of that week that they're in, the teacher will have a link posted in there. And it could also be posted. Once you go into Schoology, you'll see like it's almost like a social media stream where it's a recent activity page. But they also have on the right side, it has like their upcoming things that they need to work on and things that they got coming up. So it'll be posted in several different places. That's one of the things the teachers next week will really be working with the students to see where all these things are going to be in that Schoology account, so they know where those links will be each day.
Alrighty, Dr. Baker, are you ready to go?
I am ready.
Awesome.
All right, guys, so where are my classes? As you start anything new, I think that's a point of contention for anyone being nervous about coming to a new place, but we got you covered there. We have our map. If your class starts with a C, you'll be here in the ComArts building. If it starts with an A, you'll be over in the Taft building. And the first number will indicate what floor you should be on. This might be a little bit confusing at first when you come back and join us, but I want to kind of explain that. The ComArts building, when you get here and walk up the steps, you will be on the first floor. So if you have C109 as your first period, you will be on the first floor. If you have C210, then you will walk up to the second floor. However, at Taft, the ground level is the second floor. So if you get a class that says A215, you will be on that ground level, and you'll see everything is marked. Do not worry. You don't have to memorize this, but I just wanted to give you a heads up. If you have a A100 class, then you will go downstairs to the basement at Taft, and then A310 will be upstairs. So you'll take the stairs up. But again, there's going to be people here. There'll be teachers, staff, instructional assistants to help you get to where you need to be. And don't worry, parents, we're gonna have one-way hallways, one-way stairwells. The kids will have to perhaps walk a little bit more, but everything's gonna be staggered. Both Taft and CAHS have everything delineated into 6 feet quadrants. And so there's going to be no socialization, and the kids are gonna be kept separate. So we can keep them safe. And I know, kids, that is going to be weird, quite frankly, but it's for your safety, and just think it's only temporary until we get this thing under control, and everything will be okay eventually, and we'll get back to normal and get back to congregating. But once you guys return, we will be a little strict about that, because we want, again, your safety to be at the first and foremost important on the list. Let me turn it over to the panel and ask, do you guys have any tips for finding your Taft classes? I know that earlier, Luis, one of our football kids, said that he likes to go upstairs first to get to the gym. It's easier. So do you guys have any other tips for our new students?
For me, I think ComArts is extremely easy to just navigate. I mean, of course, I've been here for a while, but it's really just 2 like hallways. That's what we always say, you know? It's like an L shape, as like the map shows. And so like you can really see like different sections. And once you get a feel of, okay, like this is where all like the 2 Spanish classes are. Oh, this is where the lab is. Okay, well, this is where all the computers are. You kind of get the feel of, okay, this is where the general area for this place is. And then once you kind of recognize that after a couple of days of going to school, it becomes really like just easy and fast to learn. I still don't know how to navigate Taft High School, so I can't really give you tips on that, but yeah.
I think one piece of advice I can give for just going anywhere in school is trying to cut the socializing down, especially when everything gets back to normal, because especially your science classes, you're going to get a lot of work before school even starts. I mean, for the class even starts. So if you show up like right at the bell, you're already going to be behind.
Great tip. And I also too wanted just to reiterate what Jamie had said. The first floor primarily has all of our electives from the communications department, plus your history class freshmen. So you will have that on the first floor in the corner in C117. But upstairs, we have the Spanish classes, the English classes, and the history classes, but they're clustered together. So you'll be able to navigate that very easily. And then the bathrooms are in the same spots on the same levels. So you will find them on both floors in the same location. So bathroom locations are important. All right, so what can I expect from my ComArts class? Again, we are a college preparatory school. Don't let that dissuade you from coming, or don't let that scare you, but know that we are going to prepare you for college. A lot of times when we take our seniors to college and university trips, the admissions officers always tell us that a transcript from ComArts is very valuable to them. They know that those kids come prepared to learn and to be successful and finish up well within the 4 years or earlier than that because of the college credits that you obtain here. And so, yes, I am bragging, but you guys are going to be really challenged, but you are going to be supported. We are going to have multi-layers of tutoring. Don't worry about that. We're going to have probably video tutoring and then office hours for our teachers to provide that one-on-one or small group or video tutoring that you guys will probably need. And don't be afraid to ask for help. You may have not have needed tutoring in middle school, but I guarantee in high school, it's a different ball game. That occurred to me when I was coming up to 9th grade. I did not like biology and I had to go to tutoring, and it was a humble piece of pie that I had to take, but I went and I made a better grade than I would have if I didn't have gone. So tutoring is very important. It's almost a norm here. So don't be afraid about that. One thing that I want to point out though about the bus situation, if you are a transportation bus kid, if you live in the Taft zone, you can go ahead and look at buses and boundaries on our Northside website and get the drop off and pickup point and time. But if you do not live in the Taft attendance zone, do not look at that because it's wrong. It'll pick you up and take you to Warren or whatever sister campus you belong to. So if you live without the, or outside the Taft boundary, then you need to call the transportation department right before school starts to get your information set. But since we're virtual, you don't have to worry about that. But I didn't want you guys getting confused and getting the wrong information. And you could also call us as well. But transportation probably would have the latest, greatest info. So let's ask our panel, did you guys ever have any issues with tutoring, or what do you recommend for the tutor situation?
I personally loved doing tutoring throughout like a freshman year and sophomore year. Cause like the teachers are just always there to help. And like, I was like, at first I was afraid like, oh, like maybe people will look at me and be like, oh, like she needs tutoring, like what? But no, that's not even like, I feel like that's how it was in my old middle school. But like when I got to high school, it's an accepting community and they want you to learn. Like you need, like sometimes just being in a classroom doesn't help you enough. And sometimes you just need that extra push or that extra help from your teachers, or you just feel like more comfortable to ask questions maybe outside of class and go to tutoring, ask questions, be like, hey, I didn't understand this part. Can you maybe reteach this to me or teach this in a different way? And teachers are always there to help. And, yeah.
Yeah, communicating with your teachers is a big thing. Like she was saying, don't be afraid to actually ask, because if not, you're just going to be stuck.
Yeah, and the teachers always have like a schedule of what days are on tutoring. Like always, they're like, look in the cabinets over there, or like Wednesdays, Tuesdays, and whatever Thursdays, what do they have? Like, come see me in tutoring if you have any questions. Don't hesitate. It's like, it's not a taboo thing.
That's great. And then panel, if you guys could talk about how you felt about the transition from 8th to 9th grade and your expectations.
Well, with ComArts, like I was, I think one of my counselors was like, hey, like I see your interest, and then was like, hey, you should go to ComArts. So I was like expecting like all this stuff, and I feel like they came to my expectations. Like they made it even better, because when I first came to Com, we had like a karaoke day, and it was like, I was like, what? This is crazy. It was just amazing, and the sense of community I got instantly. I talked to upperclassmen like the first day of school, and it was just phenomenal. like just seeing how their experiences was. And so some kids don't get that same because they have too much of a high expectation. So like maybe, I don't know. I come in with like reality, but then also I feel like ComArts gives you something that other schools don't, like with the community. There's like a community for everyone. No matter who you are, like ComArts is there for you.
Yeah, Com is just like a very open community. You always feel at home. Like when I first came, I didn't think I was gonna like it, just because I just wanted to be with my friends. But Com is just, it's just like your second family. They're very open. Last year, I didn't know what I was expecting, but then we did have a big movie night. We watched Halloween Town in our lab. I forgot what it's called. LGI room. And it was just one of those big bonding moments that we got to have together. And I just stayed because I liked it. It's very welcoming.
Alrighty, I'm gonna go ahead and move us on.
All right, so most of you guys will have 6th period lunch. The whole campus is primarily 6th period. We have that period to ourselves, and the only caveat to that is if you are probably a varsity player of either basketball or football, you may have another period for your lunch hour. So I am assuming that most of you guys will be at 6th period lunch. So when you get here, whoever's in your 5th period, I would make a friend and then mosey on over to the cafeteria together. That way, you know, you just have a buddy. But you will be sitting 6 feet apart, don't worry. The cafeteria is right across the way. It's a very short walk, you'll get there fast. Because of the one-way thing, you might have to go a few more steps, but again, that's for your safety and it's only temporary. Do you guys, my upperclassmen, do y'all have any advice for lunch?
I know like a lot of people would rush to the lunch line, but like personally, I didn't do that because I would recommend to take your own lunch because the lines are super long before the whole COVID happened. But yeah, just be aware of that because it's a really big, like it's a noticeable issue.
Well, and we're hoping that with just us at 6th period, the lines will be a little bit better. But recommendations of bringing your own lunch might be the way to go as well, especially to kind of avoid bumping into one another. So if you have a need to talk to a counselor, we have QR codes really everywhere throughout the building, and you just scan it and you pick your counselor and you kind of put a little reason, and then they will call you in as soon as possible. And again, if you need an administrator, you'll go see Mrs. Banda or Mr. Alisea. If you have a classroom issue, then you'll go talk directly to your teacher. It's important that you start to advocate for yourself as a young person. Your parents aren't going to be around for you forever. And so it's important that, you know, you start to have your voice and develop it. And if you're kind of shy, you know, you might want to send them an email first and say, hey, I need to talk to you. Or start with the email and then do face-to-face. So that's important for you guys to do. There's lots of clubs and organizations, both here at ComArts and at TAP. You can join both. That's the beauty of our school and our sister school, where we're both very accepting, and you can do art club next door or the anime club next door with the librarian, or you could do environmental club here at ComArts. So the choices are really yours. But I would just recommend that you don't get too bogged down with a whole bunch of clubs and then you don't have time to do your homework. So let me toss it over to the panel and get their recommendations for clubs and organizations.
I want to go like kind of like mention like kind of what you're saying, like don't get like boggled with it, because freshman year I was like, I want to do every club at this school, like I love this school, I want to, like my family always makes fun of me for loving this school so much, but like honestly like you don't need to do every club, just like look at what you're interested in. If you're interested in helping out community, Helping Hands is perfect, environment club's perfect, things like that. I loved Helping Hands Club, I really enjoyed it. I didn't get into it till sophomore year, and I totally will do it junior year. Like I really recommend that club. But then also like at Taft, they have like these things, I forgot what club goes with it, but there's open mic nights where I don't know how they're gonna do it now with COVID, or you know, but they had open mic nights where you go to the library and then you just sing or do poetry or improv. You can do all these different stuff, and it was awesome. It was just like a collective community where you can just like sit down and like help your friends just grow. Like I didn't like singing, I don't like playing my ukulele in front of people, but I did it at open mic nights because I felt confident around a small group of people and really made a sense of community.
Thanks, Jamie.
All right, if there's no other last minute recommendations for clubs to join, I do recommend though for all our incoming new students, especially if this is going to be your first year like as a ninth grader in high school, I highly recommend that you get involved in something. Like Dr. Baker and Jamie said, you know, you don't have to join everything. Find one thing that you're super passionate about, find one thing that you love and get involved, because you're going to be more likely to succeed and stay here if you get involved and kind of plant your roots at ComArts and at Taft.
All right, so what is your favorite part of being at ComArts? Pooja, you've been a little bit quiet on the panel. I'm going to go to you first. No pressure.
It's okay. My favorite part about being at ComArts, it's probably like honestly like how well I know every single person in my class. Like I believe like our senior class is a bit smaller than the incoming freshman and sophomore class. So there's like about 130 of us, and like I can easily like name something about every single person in our class. And then also I really like the events we have, like Turkey Fest, Earth Day, Comstock, and Grassroots. Not too sure if Turkey Fest and Comstock might happen, but there's always Grassroots and Earth Day, which are really fun events. So I guess this all like ties into interconnectedness within the community here.
I think my favorite part about ComArts is just the inclusiveness. Like no one's ever left out here at Com. Like everybody's included. We're such a diverse group of people. Like not everybody's not everybody's into, let's say, band, or not everybody's from the same middle school. Everybody has their differences, and we like that about each other.
I would say my favorite thing about Com is probably just like being with each other and like the different types of opportunities that we get to do. Like in the broadcast journalism, we got to go to DC and learn a bunch of different things from real life reporters, and just being able to experience that at ComArts was a big deal for me. But like Turkey Fest was really fun, and
Favorite thing at Com is definitely the teachers. I feel like every teacher is different in a way, but at the same time, they're really the same about how welcoming they are. And then no one's gonna make you feel left out. And you'll notice, especially once you get to sophomore year and you have Mr. Harris, you'll just see he'll really make you feel at home.
Like I feel like I always make these jokes with my friends, but like I always say, oh, like Calm Arts is always a family, but like we always say, oh, like Mr. Harris is our like fun uncle who has a reference for everything. Cause like he has like a reference for everything, and then you learn from all these weird references. Or like just different teachers like Mrs. Barton, like, you know, like just I don't know, it's just such, they all have their own personality, and it's just fits together that like every year I feel like you're gonna have like a different teacher that you're like, whoa, that's crazy, I never thought I would have a teacher like that, but you're like, I like it.
Definitely when you have Mr. Rosser, he was in, I think, the Army or ex-military, and he has like a bunch of different types of stories, and it fits in with his lessons, and it just makes the learning experience a lot better.
Chloe.
Okay. My favorite part about ComArts is just the way that the classes and the clubs that you can do, you can express your interests throughout like whatever the class style is. The teachers really like format the classes so that you can express yourself, you can be unique and still be learning through those styles.
One thing I wanted to mention is also with sports, like you think going to a magnet school would kind of prevent you from being involved in certain sports, but honestly, especially the way the teachers are, everything just kind of works into each other.
Great, guys. Oh, go ahead.
Okay, I would say kind of going off of that as well. If you're in athletics or anything, you're still able to be a part of the sports teams and just make friends with your TAF teammates and just your TAF classes in general. You're not really excluded as ComArts kids. Like, you're still able to make friends with people at Taft and people at ComArts as well. So it's kind of nice.
Great. All right, guys. Well, let's give them one piece of advice. Chloe, do you want to start us off? I didn't know you were here. It's so good to see you.
It's good to see you too. Probably my piece of advice is don't be nervous, because you know everyone else comes in being nervous and everything, but everyone is kind of in the same circumstances as you, so it's really easy to make friends when you're all experiencing the same thing as freshmen.
Very true. Anyone else?
Don't be. Oh, go on. Sorry.
No, it's fine. You go.
Okay, thank you. No, I was just gonna say, don't be afraid to show your true colors. Don't be afraid to grow. Like, growing at ComArts is like, I feel like one of the main things. Like, since freshman year, I've grown so much, like just in every way possible, I feel like. And like ComArts and just high school in general is, you're supposed to learn and grow. And so, yeah.
Well, my advice is kind of boring, but it's useful. But I would recommend getting used to emailing your teachers, especially at this time. It's never good to like guess like on a problem you need for geometry or algebra or whatever. But it's always good to have like a secure answer from your teacher or any help at all.
My advice is kind of piggyback off that. Yeah, don't be afraid to kind of be vocal, especially in the classroom, because honestly, I feel like the more you talk, the more teachers gonna get to know you. So once you're probably behind on homework, you're not afraid to go actually say something.
My piece of advice, it's kind of like an oxymoron, but it's like, take things seriously, but don't take things too seriously. Because like, I found my freshman year, I was taking things way too seriously. And like, if you get a B, like, it's not the end of the world, I promise you. Like, once you like learn from your mistake, everything just falls into place. Because also at the same time, high school is like supposed to be like, 4 years of memories. And you want to make those memories while you can, especially at a school like Comart.
Right, awesome. That was all great advice. And if you've been sending questions in the chats, I've been doing my best. I think I got back to everybody. And now really, if you have any questions, now's a good time. But I will also start with, someone did ask what classes will be at Taft. So all of our Comart students will take for sure math and science over at Taft. And really, they'll take any class that we couldn't offer here. Like, for example, if they were wanting to take band, they would need to do it at Taft. Any type of spirit, band, art classes, things like that. But for sure, English, social studies, and their ComArts classes will all be in our building.
And Spanish.
You can ask anything at all. It's okay. If there's no big burning questions, like, you're more than welcome to email us. We will get back to you. But if there's no big questions, oh, I see some. It says, what's the situation with lockers? So go ahead, Dr.
So because we are in the social distancing pandemic, we are not going to have lockers. A lot of our books went online, and so you won't have a bunch of books to stick in your backpacks like the upperclassmen that are probably on the panel still used to like to do. So you're not going to have a locker until this is over, because we want to decrease the congregation opportunities.
All right, I'm responding to somebody in the chat. All right, the biggest thing that I can really offer you as freshmen, even as parents of freshmen, is really get comfortable with Schoology, at least for the foreseeable future. Especially these 2 weeks are going to be very important, where all of our students will be on that virtual learning platform. So please, encourage your students to open up their portal, to start opening up Schoology, and at least start kind of playing to become familiar with what it looks like, because come Monday, at 9 a.m., we will be expecting our students to go live, essentially. All right, somebody asked, how do I access Schoology as a student? So as soon as you log into your Northside portal, if you just open up any type of browser, if you type in just Northside portal, it'll be the first one that pops up. It'll prompt you to log in with your S number and whatever your password is. As soon as you open that up, you will see a bunch of tiles, and it should be the last one in the last row for you. I have a question about course changes. So I will let the counselors, Dr. Rosales, Ms. Skidmore, if you're still on, what it just says, what about course changes for students?
So we sent a counseling newsletter to parents and students, and it has an access button for students to be able to reach us in the meantime that we're in a virtual platform. So if they can just fill that out or email us, so that way we can help you with any kind of questions that you might have about courses or any kind of other advisement you need. It doesn't necessarily guarantee a schedule change, but we will definitely help to guide you in your courses.
If you have a concern about your schedule with courses, email us ASAP.
Yes.
Hurry and get that into us.
And I'm sorry, I'm adding the counselors' emails in the chat box.
Thank you.
And before the panel goes, I just wanted to tell them thank you so much for joining us. Your insight and your wisdom that you shared was very enlightening. And we just want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts for sharing that with the new ComArts students.
Yes, thank you, students. We super appreciate all the advice and all the tips and tricks that you have for everyone. All right, I have, what is the percentage of kids that signed up for in-person education for the first 9 weeks?
For freshmen, there's about 63 that want to come right now. And about 100 of you will be virtual. And then sophomores, if I have any new sophomores on here right now, there'll be 41 of you in person and 101 virtual.
My next question says, my daughter was placed in Spanish 4 AP and she's needing to start in Spanish 1. Is that normal to start there?
I would say to that email the counselor so we can look at the transcript history and see what we're working with, and we can take it from there and help out and correct any mistakes that were done.
All right, and then remember, students, your counselor is assigned to you by your last name. So if you have the last name A through K, you're going to be with Ms. Skidmore, and if you have L through Z, you're going to be with Dr. Rosales. All right, so I have a next question. Are the first 2 weeks of school online and then transferring to in-person?
Good one.
Right, so as of now, the whole district, we are having the first 2 weeks, every single student will participate in virtual learning. After those 2 weeks, provided that we get the clearance to open our building, I like to use the term if and when we can open up our building, then the choice that you indicated on your instructional survey will take place. So if you were okay with coming back after those 2 weeks, again, if and when, then you will come back face to face. And, you know, like Dr. Baker said, we've worked really hard to ensure that we can have the safest building possible for all of our students, but also our faculty and staff. And if you choose to stay virtual, you'll kind of keep moving after the 2 weeks as if nothing had changed.
And one thing that I'll add to that is that if you choose to do in person, and we do get to that point where we do have students on campus, because of the size of high schools, you'll still be following a hybrid schedule, meaning that you'll have alternating days. Monday, you may be at home, Tuesday, be virtual, and it alternates. So that's another layer in the step towards fully becoming, hopefully at some time soon, totally everybody back in person. But it's going to be a gradual thing and not a immediate, we're in person and everybody's back.
So on that hybrid schedule, how would that work with extracurricular activities like band, for example? I know that the marching band's rehearsing Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays.
So obviously Mr. Mills might have more direct knowledge of how the mechanics of that is going to look like. As of right now, because there was another question in the chat I saw asking about camps as well. A lot of those periods where kids that may choose virtual. So if I play football, but I'm going to go virtual, football's been put at first period. So a student can come on campus, they can participate in football, and then they would leave campus and continue the rest of their day virtually. And so that's kind of going to be something that's juggled because that also comes with guidance from UIL and things like that, how that's going to work when it comes to when a sports is allowed to come back and camps and things like that. You know, our rules for 6A have been a little bit different from the smaller schools. I know the day for us to start camps is coming up, I think, in the next week or so. But that could change depending on what the health situation is.
All right, the next question I have, is there a dress code that is put in place at ComArts? And the answer to that question is yes, we follow the same dress code that's set out in the student handbook for the entire district. It's pretty straightforward. You know, nothing offensive on the clothing. You know, if girls choose to wear dresses or skirts, they can't be too short, things like that. But for the most part, you can find it all on the student handbook. It's pretty similar to what you've probably been seeing in your middle school, with the exception of a few changes here or there.
There was a question about driving to school. Typically that's reserved for juniors and seniors only. If we have a 10th grader that has a very important exemption that you guys want to appeal, that goes through administration. But because the new library is being set up at Taft, the parking is going to be very limited. So 10th graders driving to campus will probably be few and far between unless you have a huge situation going on, like I said. So.
All right, I see a question. If we do hybrid, which days do we go into the school? And will we know what days students are attending school? I guess that's for the hybrid model.
I mean, you would be given a schedule of how that would look like. We're not at that point yet, so that how that mechanically is going to get disseminated to students and how that would work. I don't have information on that yet, but you would know. You would know definitely when would be that first day you came back in person, and then from there on it'd be alternating. But since we're not there yet, that's not something that we're that I know how that mechanically is going to get disseminated to the students.
When the students return to school, are there going to be staff members there to help students to their classes? Absolutely. During passing period, all our staff will be at their doors kind of helping move our kids along. Dr. Baker, Mr. Alicea, and myself will be out in the hallways kind of helping to navigate you. Dr. Rosales and Ms. Skidmore, they would go out every period and open the doors so students could come in kind of at ease, because our side doors do lock for safety purposes. So we will all be out and about to help you as much as humanly possible. The next question I have is, once the campus does open back up, if we want to stay virtual, do we need to let someone know, and how would we let them know? I do believe that for the instructional surveys, they're good for 9-week periods. So I would assume that another survey would go out closer to the end of the 9 weeks, so you could indicate again what type of method, instructional method you're choosing for either, I guess, yourself or your child. And then will clubs be virtual in the beginning too? I would imagine that clubs would be virtual. They would have to at least kick off the school year virtually. But the really cool thing about Schoology is if you have a Facebook account, I feel like it looks a lot like a Facebook account where you can kind of join different groups. And so teachers can make groups for Environment Club or for Helping Hands, and students can get involved that way. So all they really have to do is look out for those groups so they could join and kind of figure out how they're going to get involved in those certain aspects. All right, are there any more questions? All right, if there's no more questions, I'll leave you with our last kind of ComArts family present that we've made. We had some of our upperclassmen create a welcome video, and so this is the last thing that I'll leave you with. We'll remind you that if you missed something, I did record the entire presentation, and I will be sending this out to every single new ComArts family, so you can have this at your fingertips. And as always, please don't ever hesitate to email us or ask us any questions.
Miss
Vonda, there's no sound thing.
There's no sound.
Yeah.
On your thing right now.
Unshared it, right?
No, you can stop the share.
Yeah, stop share. And when you share, you're gonna share your computer sound and optimize. Stop it. Okay. Share your screen. And where is it? Is it this one? Okay. Okay. How do you switch it? Oh, right here? No. Go back to your and just play it because it already has a sharing capabilities.
Hey class of 2024, my name is Lisa Hernandez and my NHS officers and I crafted a small short video with you just to share our message at CAHS. Hey class of 2024, my name is Lisa Hernandez and I'm the National Honor Society President. I just wanted to welcome you with open arms into our family and community here at Communication Arts High School and know that you are loved by everyone and that we are so excited to see you here at our school. And make sure to reach out to us. You know, we're always happy to help you and give you advice on different things. Make sure to keep your learning as well. That's some of the advice I was given as a freshman. And also to never stop growing as a person. So I hope you have an amazing school year and make sure that you check out all of our resources that are available and we'll see you on the flip side. Bye.
Welcome class of 2024. My name is Lauren Gonzalez and I am the Vice President of Correspondence for National Honor Society. My favorite memory at Communication Arts would have to be Turkey Fest.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth and I'm Vice President of Service for NHS and I just want to say welcome class of 2024. You're going to love it at CAHS. See you soon.
Hey class of 2024, I'm Mary and I'm the Vice Principal of Relations at NHS. Don't stress too hard about this year because your teachers have got your back. And try to join any clubs that you're interested in, but don't forget to take care of yourself at the same time. I'm so excited to meet you guys, and if you ever need anything, just let me know and I'll try my best to help. See you soon.
Hi, I'm Nevaeh, NHS VP of Media, and welcome class of 2024. These next 4 years for you guys are going to be really amazing, and my time at COM, I made a lot of friends and so many memories that I'm never going to forget. And some advice for you guys, don't procrastinate, treat every year like it matters, and have fun. Don't stress yourself out. Good luck, you guys.
All right, guys, that is all we have for you. Like I said, if you ever need something, please feel free to email us, call us, reach out. We're so excited to see y'all and to have you guys on campus. So we will see you hopefully very, very soon. Bye, guys.